All right, we've got our box all completed here in Onshape and we've printed it, but the fun part is going to be getting the plasma cutter going and cutting this thing out so that we can build it. So how do we go about doing that? We're going to go here to the flat pattern and we're going to right click and say export DXF. Now this is something that's common. We did this for the motor project. We're going to do this time again. Sometimes we're going to bring it into our laser cutter, plasma cutter, maybe even ShopBot, depending on what it is. So we're going to start with, I want to make sure my name is on here. And we want it to be a DXF. This is important right here. The units, you can either specify workspace units, or if you deselect that, you can pick any number of these. But it's important that we're working in inches here because that's what we designed it in, and we don't want it to get confused. So you hit export, and it's going to show up here, and it's going to be in your downloads. So I want to move it from your downloads into your folder on the network drive. All right, so I'm going to minimize this, go ahead and open up my computer here and go to my downloads, and there's the file. So I can copy that or cut it either way. Copy that, I'm going to go to the tech drive, find my folder here, and put it in my EV folder. So I'm just going to paste that in there. We're going to use that file to create our torchmate file, but I'm going to start by opening up the vCarve software. So if you go to the Tech Lab apps and you go to vCarve, and some of you may need to register this. There's a code that may come up that you need to a password. If that code does come up, the place to find it is in the Tech Drive right here. This vCarve code. If you launch that, it'll allow you to copy the username and password in. But mine has already been registered, so I'm not getting that message. I'm going to create a new file, and I notice that my file size is 11 by 17, which was the paper size that we used. I'm going to stick with that. The thickness doesn't matter because we're going to be bringing this file into the plasma cutter. I'm going to import my vectors, and so I'm going to go, I could import it from my downloads, but I'm just going to show you that you're going to bring it in from your folder. So you would find your folder and find that file and bring it in. Now, we're not going to use vCarve for the plasma cutter, but vCarve is a lot easier to clean up than the torchmate software. So the first thing I want to do is we've got to get rid of all of these lines that are not our outlines. So I'm going to make some boxes and get rid of the stuff that is not what we need to cut. So I'm going to make some boxes around here. And you're going to see, just be careful that you don't accidentally delete something that you need. So go all around and get rid of all this stuff. Be careful, if you start in the lower left and go towards the upper right, it's going to, anything that it crosses, it's going to select. So I could do this, which is great because I get all those, but make sure you don't delete one of the items that represents the outer boundary of your box, because that's what we want to cut on the plasma cutter. So start down here and go up like this. I can get rid of all of this stuff. Likewise, I can do that up here. Get rid of that. Get rid of these. All right, so now I've got our boundary. The next thing I want to do is make sure that these are all joined, because sometimes they come up as individual lines. They're not joined one line. So I'm going to select the whole thing, and I'm going to go to join and hit join. Now if I click on it, notice that it's all one path. The next thing I want to do is compensate for the kerf, or the cut that's being made by the plasma cutter. As the plasma cutter cuts through the steel, it's going to create a line, and it's going to remove some material. And Alex calculated that we are losing about 25 thousandths. So I want to make this 25 thousandths bigger so that the actual box is the real size. So if I click on this, I can offset it 25 thousandths and just come in here, type in 0.025, and I want to go outwards. And I click the offset button, and you'll notice that it leaves the original highlighted, and now this is the new size of my box because the kerf is going to cut on that line and it's going to remove material to the red line. So now I'm going to click on that red line. I could have left it selected and hit delete. So this is the new size of the box that I have. Now, the bummer is VCarve doesn't talk to the plasma cutter, so we now need to take this file, export it, and bring it into the torchmate software. So how do we do that? I'm going to select this. Well, first let's save it just so we have one more file. I'm going to go to save. I'm going to put it in my EV folder, and I'm going to give it the same name. It's going to have a .crv. All right. Then I'm going to go to File and go to Export. And I'm going to make another DXF, and I'm going to put it in there. And it says Box DXF. And I'm going to maybe put New in front of it just so I know that this is the one that we need to bring into the torchmate software. All right, we're good with VCarve. Close that out. I've got the new, oops, yep, there it is. So that's what we need to bring in the torchmate software. The torchmate software is not as friendly, but it's necessary. So we're going to open that up. And we're going to set our size. So under material size, I'm going to go back and go ahead and make it the same. So it's 17 by 11 high, and hit OK. So now we're going to go to import. We're going to find our folder. Make sure you're pulling in the right one because you're going to have a DXF from before. So I'm going to go to the tech drive, and we're looking for that new file, right? So I'm going to go into my folder, EV, and I've got the new box. Click in here. That's all okay. So we're all good. So now we're ready to put a toolpath on this box. And I'm going to just bring it a little bit closer to the origin so we're not wasting material. And you can use your arrow keys and walk it along a little bit too. Be careful you don't go outside the material because then it won't cut. So when you're in the torchmate software now, I'm going to make this a little bigger so it'll be easier for you to see. So we're going to create some toolpaths using the torchmate software. So the first thing you need to do is go to Arrange, go to Connect Path. It's already connected, but that's a safe bet. Then you want to go to Arrange, and go to Make Path. And then you're going to go to Machine and go to Create Toolpath Male. All right. And the thickness really doesn't matter. I mean, it says we're cutting 3-inch. We're not cutting that. You can set it to 1/2 inch. It really doesn't matter because this is a 2D machining operation. You're going to go to Basic Cut, and you want, we're going to set the feed rate at 100 for now, and we're going to adjust it later. All right. Lead in and lead out. You do want to create a lead in. We're going to leave it as an arc. And I'm going to give it a radius of 1/4 inch and hit OK. Now you may not see anything because of the visibility setup. So if you go to View and you go to Show Toolpaths Only, now you can see this black line which represents our toolpath, and this is that lead-in that I was talking about. So this file is ready to save and bring over to the plasma cutter. So we're going to save it to our folder first. File, Save As. And I want to go to my tech drive, find my folder again. This is takes a little bit. All right, and all right. So we're not saving as DXF. This is going to be an EDU file. All right. Now we're going to have to put that on a flash drive in order to get it to the plasma cutter, because the plasma cutter is not connected to the network. So quick reminder on how to do that. We would simply go to our computer, grab that file, and copy it onto the flash drive. If you need help with that, let me know. I don't want to, we're already at 10+ minutes. All right, that should